perfect. Just thinking if we'd have to refresh. Perfect. Fuck, that's exciting.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Welcome to the Work From Home edition of our Path of Exile announcement livestream. Thanks for joining us as we discuss all the details of the upcoming Path of Exile Scourge expansion, which releases on October 22nd for PC and October 27th on console. For today's livestream, Twitch drops are enabled. Check out the link below the stream for more information on how to claim your free Dragonfly wings. The passive skill tree and will reveal this expansion's new skills. After discussing some balance changes and the new guild quality of life features, we'll head into a live Q&A stream where I chat with community streamer Ziggy D. Oh, and after the Q&A, we'll post the entire expansion's patch notes. I'm proud to present the official trailer for Path of Exile Scourge.
What?
It's gonna be a long stream, this.
That's so big for me! That's huge! I have a week to make builds! Oh my god!
The day the demons found our world, the innocent were first to die.
Does the Ziri? No. Wow. Wow, booba.
Face the nightmare.
Tornado?
They are ravenous. They are endless. They are the Scourge.
Wow.
I got scared. I actually shitted.
That was sick.
The Path of Exile Scourge expansion contains a lot of new content and features that we'll reveal to you today. Let's start with its namesake, the Scourge Atlas passive skill points as before. With these changes, each map you play constitutes far more progress than it previously did. About half as much work is now required to reach Path of Exile's ultimate endgame.
I want to see a different region.
We've made some other changes to streamline the endgame also. For example, now when you unveil a modifier, all tiers of that modifier are immediately unlocked at the crafting bench. This applies to every veiled modifier, including the very rare ones.
Yo.
I love that.
Many of Path of Exile's
Amazing.
past leagues have an endgame component that is designed to challenge the best players with the best builds. Over time, more and more of Path of Exile's experienced players have managed to defeat the game's hardest content. Our most difficult endgame content doesn't pose as much of a challenge as it once did. In the Scourge expansion, we have added a set of new aspirational content, uber versions of Breach, Blight, Legion, an extension to Delirium's Simulacrum, and a revamp of Delve. We've wiped the standard Delve ladders, but have retained your previous depth on your characters. To get back on the ladder, just play at whatever depth you were still able to complete. We've also improved the Delve catch-up mechanic. Previously, if you entered Delve for the first time at level 90, you'd be taken to a depth that is the equivalent of Tier 1 maps. Now we'll be taken to the equivalent of Tier 13 maps. This means that if you want, you can essentially ignore Delve until the late game rather than having to play as you go. We've increased the base soul fight cap from 600 to 1200. Underground cities are now more common and you'll encounter bosses more often, including all. You can rarely find fractured items with Delve modifiers on them. We've also
Holy
increased fossil
shit.
and resonator availability throughout the Azurite mine. Fossil availability outside of Delve has been reduced. All
Nice.
resonators drops are now chaotic resonators, with alchemical resonators not dropping anymore. We've also improved the least powerful fossils. Start locations. All passive skill clusters that have a notable passive in them now contain a passive mastery. When you allocate the first notable passive in each cluster, a mastery becomes available to allocate in that cluster. When you spend a passive skill point on the mastery, you can choose a specific stat to gain. This list is shared with all the clusters on the tree that have the same theme, so you can travel to any of them to get the stat you want. As you allocate a mastery stat, it's crossed off the list for that theme.
Holy shit. You really need a
Dan?
PhD to play
This
this
mastery
game.
system has essentially let us add hundreds of powerful new notable passives that you can access from all over the tree. In addition to the stats that we moved into masteries when consolidating power on the rest of the tree,
Holy
we got to
shit.
come up with a bunch of new interesting niche stuff to enable even more builds. These ones are designed to immediately create entirely new builds that have a lot of potential. There's also a utility skill that will help characters stay alive, a variation on an existing skill gem, and 6 new gems designed for party play. Let's go through the new skills.
I'm so excited.
Energy Blade is a new skill that transforms your melee weapons into, well, energy blades. A large portion of your energy shield is converted into the lightning damage that these blades deal. This opens up an entirely new melee energy shield archetype, where you want to stack as much energy shield as possible to get the most powerful blades you can. Conveniently, the defenses rework in this expansion is very compatible with this plan.
Wow.
Temporal Rift is a new utility skill that allows you to rewind your character's state by 4 seconds. After activating the skill, it's come to think of it, it'll be pretty cool in Delve as well if you don't mess up the timing.
Ooh. We're
Temporal
Weaver.
Rift also prevents temporal chains from affecting you while it is in use. Tornado is another new skill. As the name suggests, it creates a tornado that relentlessly moves towards enemies and pulses with damage. While the tornado is forming, you have a couple of seconds where it will absorb damage from projectiles you hit it with. Fire as many projectiles as you can into it during that period, and it'll power up, greatly increasing its damage output. Development overhead, we have bundled all of the exotic ones together in a single discounted bundle for guilds that want to invest in the whole lot at once. We have also added the ability to export a CSV file of your guild stash activity log for convenient auditing. We wanted to pair functional with fun, so we've introduced guild hideouts. Guild leaders can select any in-game or microtransaction hideout that they have unlocked and create a guild hideout based on that template. These hideouts are a great place to hold guild meetings or to just have as a space for members to meet up between maps.
That's so cool.
If you're hanging out in your guild's hideout, you can use its map device as though it was your own. We understand that not everyone is in a guild, so there's one hideout-related feature that we wanted to mention. We have entirely removed the favor system from Path of Exile. From this expansion onwards, all hideout decorations that could previously be obtained with favor are now available to all players in unlimited quantities, both
Nice.
personal and guild hideouts. Now, there's nothing stopping you from making the hideout of your dreams. We've also added a system that allows you to filter decorations by tag because there are just so many available to you by default now. Alongside Path of Exile's Scourge, we're introducing the expedition content from our last expansion into Path of Exile's core game, with a few adjustments. Expedition artifacts being automatically picked up isn't the only improvement we're making to reduce unnecessary clicks in this expansion. In order to make
Dave?
sure that each stack of currency items is worth a click, we're trying out a system where currency items drop less frequently, but in larger stack sizes. For example, Scrolls of Wisdom in the late game might drop 1/10 of the time, but when they do, it'd be in stacks of 6 to 14. This means that the click that you will make will gain you a much more meaningful amount of currency at once. We have applied this to many different types of currency items, and the effect of the system gets larger as you get further into the game. In addition, we've had a look at instances where item drops happen simultaneously, and we've made it so that items that can drop in stacks will automatically do so. This includes at the end of delves, incursions, rituals, blight encounters, breach zones, and the simulacrum. We have also applied this approach to many chests and areas like splinter drops throughout Path of Exile. This livestream. Keep an eye on our news next week as we reveal more details about the Scourge expansion. In the meantime, these reveals are already live on YouTube for you to link to your friends in case they missed the livestream. Please do so and join us as we battle the Scourge alongside you next week. It's now time for the Q&A. If you have any questions about what we've shown you today, please get them ready because I'm about to be joined by Ziggy D as we answer your questions from Twitch chat, and after that, we'll be posting the full Path of Exile Scourge patch notes.
Good night,
Oh,
mate.
this was good, Ziz.
This might be shaping up to be my favorite league ever. I hated the last two. This looks sick. I need to pee. Holy shit. I need to pee, dude. I'm dying here. I'm
You
dying.
better be quick.
I will.
Chat.
Simulacrum's actually a good example that you guys added 10 new levels. There's nothing to gate access to that, but in order to make it to level 30, you actually have to make it to level 30. So when do you guys philosophically want to use that versus making the access rare?
it comes down to a lot to whether on like what stage of it is tradable, right? In the case of the Simulacrum, the base thing is tradable, but in order to earn the access to the final waves, you need to, of course, fight your way there. In the case of like a Blight Ravaged map, obviously you have to be, succeeding at Blight encounters in order to get those. The problem is that people do succeed at Blight encounters. People typically pitch Blighted maps at a level that they believe they can do, otherwise they're wasting resources. And so we do give it to you proportional to your success in those encounters. To an extent, you're fighting your way there, but it isn't guaranteed that finishing a Blighted map gives you a Blight Ravaged map. Instead, it might take more like, and this is me literally picking a number I haven't seen, but say 10 or something like that. It might be lower.
Raw upload unedited, and I'll make a TLDR afterwards. Before starting to read the patch notes, I'm going to search for Essence Strain and Contagion and see if that's in the notes, and then continue reading as normal. No Essence Strain. No Contagion. All right. Hi, Zizaran here with another leaks. Wow, Jesus, these are long. We're here all night. Hi, Zizaran here with another guide for Essence Strain Contagion for the upcoming Scourge League of 3.16 Path of Exile. Wow, it's gonna be a night. Let me put on some nice background music and we'll get into it. An offering to the goddess. While this made finding all trials easier, it often felt lossy. You could have run an Eternal Labyrinth for more enchant opportunities and the lab reward chest. In Path of Exile Scourge, you will no longer need to complete all of the Trials of Ascendancy found in maps in order to access the Eternal Lab. You'll simply need to travel to the Labyrinth, paying one offering to the goddess. Honestly, that deserves a pog train, even though we've seen it before. It's just so good. The redeem code thing is just like the Nexus thing where you can buy game codes and support the stream. It's not important. Specifics. Accessing the Eternal Lab no longer requires the completions of trials and only the completion of the previous labyrinth. It still costs one offering. That means that if you find a div card with that, you can literally go straight in. You don't need one at all. So that's insane. The Eternal Lab now requires a character level of 68 to access, previously 60. The Trial of Ascendancy can no longer spawn in white maps, and the ability to consume an offering to the goddess in the map device to open portals to a random Trial of Ascendancy has been removed. Very nice. Very nice. Good job.